Can we trust this stock market rally? Is BHP's 11% dividend sustainable? And how good was CSL's profit report? I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money. Well, Paul, US market up again overnight. Can we trust this rally?
Well, look, you got to say it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's probably is due for a bit of a pullback, Pete. I mean, but fourth session in a row. The key was obviously last Wednesday, their time with the CPI, and then we've seen, pretty strong performance. I thought the Friday's performance was good. I mean, it's August, it's summertime. It's gone back into a more traditional sort of summer market when it goes a bit quiet, and that's what you're seeing at the moment, I think. And your volatility's come right down, and look, we're waiting. I think your view is that the September CPI now becomes pretty important to make sure the trend is confirmed.
September 13, I hope it's not a Friday. they don't release it on a Friday, I'm sure, but still.
What do you think? I mean,
Paul, I think this rally is a sneak preview of what's going to happen once interest rate rises are either low, or stopped or are getting really small. The market liked that inflation number. It looks like inflation's coming off the boil. I know even locally, JB Hi-Fi said that the costs of imports are coming down, so that's probably happening worldwide. Good things are happening. A pullback, I totally agree, is on the cards because people make profit and they sell off. But I think there's a sneak preview of what's going to happen. So I don't think we'll go back to that mid-June low unless something crazy happens, like a Putin decision or a Beijing decision that really spooks the market. I think economically we're heading in the right direction, and therefore this rally is trustworthy as long as you give it time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the BHP. You've looked at that really closely. I couldn't do the interview with the CFO yesterday, which you did, so you got some really good insights on BHP. 11% dividend. Is it sustainable?
Well, it's not, but I don't think anyone's expecting the final dividend to be what it was. And that's actually higher in US dollar terms than it was last year. And we all said last year was too high. Yeah. And that's not including the special dividend that everyone got with the Woodside shares. So it's about, in Aussie dollar terms, it's about $4.46. The final dividend hasn't quite been set in $8 just yet. That's for the year, $40 share price. That's $11, right? Yeah. Add in franking. Now, we say never buy mineral companies for dividends, and that's rule number one. I think look, just before I go on, what was interesting in BHP's report was the contribution from that dirty thing called coal.
Stinking coal.
It was almost 25% of EBITDA, right? Yeah. And, so most of BHP's coal revenue comes out of metallurgical coal, that's coking coal. Demand for that's been really strong. It also had a big win out of its energy coal, which is in the Hunter Valley still. That was what it was trying to sell. That's the really dirty coal. That's the really dirty coal. So, it's not all iron ore, and then BHP's putting a lot of capital into the so-called newer commodities, copper and nickel to a secondary extent. Okay. So, look, I thought it was a pretty positive result. I mean, net debt of only $0.3 billion. Right now, they're going to pay a dividend, but, they could gobble up Oz Minerals and not even have to go to shareholders, right? Sure. Because that's how strong their balance sheet is. So, I think you got to say, obviously a lot comes down to the outlook in China, but iron ore prices, $100 seems to be a bit of a floor. Yeah.
And China's going to force itself to grow.
And China's stimulating again, right? So, I mean, look, I wouldn't be buying BHP for the dividend yield, but in the short term at least, and expect a lower dividend next year, it's still going to be pretty high. I still think BHP should be, absolutely a core stock in everyone's portfolio. You've got to be market weight BHP. I don't think there's any reason. And market weight's about 10%, 11% of your portfolio, right? 11%. So, that's what it is.
Yeah, but I would bet all your money, and that's a lot of money, let me tell you, on BHP at least having a 5 or 6% dividend next year. So 11 is unbelievable. It probably will be higher than 5 or 6%, but that's a pretty easy bet. These guys are going to do well. I don't think the global economy is going to go to hell in a handbasket. And if it did, iron ore still seems to do very well. So BHP, pretty safe play, I think, from this level here. Let's go to CSL, Paul. You've pulled over the report this morning. How's it done?
Well, it's reported as it normally does. It's at the top end of guidance, so it's outperformed in terms of how the market. So guidance before was 2150 to 2250. That's in US mean million dollars. On constant currency terms, it's coming at 2236. So it's right at the top end of its guidance range. CSL has a habit of doing that. I guess where the market might have a bit of question about is whether next year's guidance is enough. So it's guiding to a profit next year of between 2.4 billion and 2.5 billion. That's about a 10% improvement in net profit. Now that doesn't include V4 Pharma. They're going to come back on that because that's only just been completed.
That's the takeover target.
That's just coming to the accounts.
Yeah.
But that doesn't include that. So they're going to come back in the next couple of months and say, what are we going to make out of that? So that's about a 10%.
So it's like for like comparison.
And I guess, look, that's probably that's not too bad. So I think, look, I don't think the market's going to sell off on this. Whether this is enough to get it above $300 and keep it above $300, it's not a quite shoot the lights out. But I think the market's going to say, look, this is CSL doing what it usually does. It's delivering on expectation. If it gets sold off, it'll be bought. So
you and I like CSL. We liked it at low prices. It's a bit like JB Hi-Fi. It kind of continues to deliver better than what the market expected. I suspect, given what you're saying, that CSL's share price over the next year will still start creeping up. If something big comes along, it'll boom. But I think it's just a good, reliable stock to buy. Yeah,
and look, I'm just a bit, my wariness is just I don't know what the market was quite thinking about the bit excluding V4. So, look, I think they'll probably say, look, this is pretty good. Look, it's actually down on the year before, but that's because of plasma collections and the challenges there. But, guidance is out there. It's at the top end of guidance. Reasonable confidence about next year. And the market would say, yeah, that's pretty good. Look, this is it's like a core stock. A core stock does what it's told. People don't sell it, right? It's sort of it's not going to be, just plummet because it's not a miss, right?
Well, from my point of view, if the market wants to sell it off, I'll be a buyer. I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Ricardo.
And we're mad about money.